Hello, Until Death Do Us Part Podcasters. We are so excited to be live with you guys today. So sorry for the late arrival. We had to get family straight first. However, we are here and we are ready. So before we get started, I want to bring attention to this beautiful sweatshirt, Anointed Covering. If you guys have not copped yours, you have to get yours today. My husband have on his t-shirt. When he comes, you'll see his. And I have on a nice sweatshirt. It's actually a whole suit. It comes with pants and a top. And it's cost efficient, so I'm sure you will love it. All right, so before we get started, we'll let a couple more check in with us. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. All right. All right, so today we'll be talking about love languages. How many of us actually know our love language? How do we know what causes us to tick or talk? Who knows their love language? If you do, drop it in the comments below. Me per se, I'm definitely acts of service and quality time. I love when my man helps me out, even my friends. Love language can go in your intimate relationships and also in your friendships. They're both very, very important. And it's important that you know the love language of your friends and family and even your children. I've given my boys this test as well, so I can know how to speak their love language. So I want to encourage you guys to do the same. Get to know the people around you. Get to know how to love on the people around you. So today, we're going to talk about love languages. There are 5 different love languages. The first is words of affirmation. Second, physical touch. Third, receiving gifts. Fourth, quality time. And acts of service. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, babe. So as you guys see, he's rocking this Anointed Covering t-shirt. Show me your shirt, babe. Absolutely. What's the website they can find the shirt?
I don't know the website by heart.
Okay, we'll definitely post it for you guys to review. All right, so we were briefly talking about love language, and I was telling about mine, which is acts of service and quality time. Can you share with them yours?
Mine's is receiving gifts.
And
I'm trying to get the podcast straight so you can see the comments, babe.
okay. Hey Amber, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, we're trying to iron out some kinks here. So let's talk a little bit about words of affirmation. Words of affirmation sounds more like encouragement, like, good job, you're doing wonderful. I love it when you do this. And then physical touch, of course, is touching, affirming, saying, hi, how are you? Or thank you so much. Touching allows people to feel loved and cared for. Receiving gifts, we all know what that is. Bringing home that big rock, or getting him his favorite game, or buying his drone, whatever the thing is that they enjoy. Then quality time, that's spending time with your mate, finding time to solely give that person your undivided attention. So no, we wouldn't be playing with the cell phone. No, we won't bring along people that would distract us. Yes, we would probably try to get a sitter for the kids so we can take time to actually spend quality time with our partner, where we focus on just you and I. And then acts of service, helping out. So when you see your mate is overwhelmed with the responsibilities associated with the house, work, the kids, etc., assisting them with getting the job done. So again, welcome everyone. I see some people have joined. If you know your love language, drop it in the comments. We would love to hear from you. And we would love to hear how you receive love. All right, babe. You got it situated?
Not sure. Give me 1 second.
All right, guys.
My fault, y'all.
It's okay. So while he does that, I'll talk a little bit about how initially I felt I was loving him using my love language. So my love language is acts of service. So it's like helping out, always being there when you need me, et cetera, et cetera. That was my love language. And I was like, oh, I know I'm showing him exactly that I love him. I know I'm giving him the very best parts of me. And he was like, okay, thank you, but this is not my language. Okay, Shamika said quality time and words of affirmation. Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, let me put the link in there so you can take the test if you don't know your love language.
Okay, he's going to pin the link so you can actually take the test to find out your own love language. So as I was stating, I was loving him from my love language, which is acts of service. I was making sure I was there. I was doing everything I felt like he needed me to do. And the reality was that wasn't his love language. So although I was like, yes, I'm doing it. Why he don't know I love him? The reality was I wasn't speaking his language. So it's important that you learn your mate's language. How about you? You remember a time where you were loving me from your love language?
I think I always do.
Yeah.
I don't think it take away from the fact that I love you and yours too, but I think I always do. I mean, it's you have to, I guess you have to set an example of how you want to be loved in your love language. So I guess that's why a lot of the time we love in our own love language, because you have to set an example for how you want to be loved in that love language. But then you also have to realize that even though you set an example in that love language, that might not be her love language. So it's a lot to it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So like I remember you would like throw these big parties. And mind you, I'm very appreciative. But I'm like, I would really love for it to just be you and I. We chill, catch a breeze. But he loves parties. He loves big parties with families, friends. He the gathering of people. And I love seeing him in that element because he is the happiest when his family and friends are around. So how did you feel? Well, I don't know. How would you feel when you throw like this big party for me, and then when your birthday come, I'm like, okay, well, this is what I have.
I don't. You can't really. I don't know. I guess it's undescribable.
Yeah.
It's like
Because I remember you were like, I throw you parties, and what about me?
Yeah, I guess it's different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's just different. I guess it's trying to think about the right way to say it. I had to realize too that you weren't me for one, so that you wouldn't do things the same way that I did things. But then again, I think that even though you did those small intimate things, those things were in your love language.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm not a I mean, I like being intimate and I like romantic things, but I'm not an introvert. So it's hard for little how you say it? It's hard for me to celebrate me in a little way because of how big my personality is, I guess.
Yeah.
You could say it like that. So so I guess it's it's one of those things you learn to accept, but then it's like it wasn't in my love language.
But this year, guys, I caught a hold of it. And was this birthday amazing, babe?
It was all right.
Hold up.
Could have been better. No, I'm just playing. They did a really good job, y'all.
This year, guys, for the record, it was amazing. I had a 3-day, a 3-event type thing. So everybody can kind of play a part in his birthday because, like I said, he really enjoys family and friends. So if you couldn't make one, you can make the other. And it was solely based on his likes and what he wanted. And I was sure to do that. So clap it up for me, guys.
It was really weird seeing her at the gun range being scared of a gun. was so
I'm
crazy.
not dangerous,
And
okay?
then the gun was like this big.
I hated it. I guess the fear, the fact that guns can possibly take somebody's life. You know, I'm fully aware of the power of those things.
But that's the reason. You don't fear something because it's powerful. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You learn to use that power for the purpose in which it's made.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So, that's why like for me, I'm a big time pro gun person, because
that's true.
That's what I indulge in.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? But I understand people who aren't pro gun people as well, but they become pro gun people when they deal with a situation when they needed a gun.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? And
mm-hmm.
I feel like we shouldn't just say, okay, well, I don't want to deal with it because I'm not a gun person.
Right.
Learn how to responsibly use your gun. You understand what I'm saying? And even if you're going to be a person who responsibly use your gun, you have to teach your kids the same thing, because you don't want your son to say, oh, well, my daddy got a gun and be at school and something happens and he run and get the gun, because he wasn't taught how to properly use the gun, because we fear it. Most of the time you got one person in the house who fears the gun, and you got one person in the house who really wants it. So you got to teach everybody to properly use it for what it's for.
All right, just for the record, we are not teaching our kids anything about guns at this age.
Yeah, not now.
All right, Lorraine says her love language is words of affirmation. Hubby's is physical touch. Kudos. So you guys know how to love on one another.
Yeah, that's kind of like hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Yeah, ours is really different. Receiving
Absolutely.
Gifts and physical touch.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, so even with that, it's like you still have to make it work. So it's like even when you do it right, you say, like your love language is words of affirmation. And it doesn't always mean that you have to say, you're great, or you're doing this. It could be a little, man, I appreciate that, or I appreciate that you did this, or I appreciate that you did that. And sometimes you have to figure out things in that love language, like sending little cards, or
text
sending
messages.
stuff to the job, send what they call it, something to gram. I don't know what it's called.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And then like leaving a Hershey kiss in the car with a note on it saying this kiss is for you. Well, you got to figure out different stuff to do in that love language.
Yeah.
It's really not that hard to figure out what to do in that love language. You just got to understand that once you figure out what the love language is, you have to cater to that love language, even though you're going to love, especially from your love language, because that's what you want in return. You have to cater to that person's love language as well.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of the time, a person who deals in words of affirmation, they really don't like constructive criticism either, though.
And that's true.
That's a hard thing to do, or a hard thing to deal with, because the words that you want to hear are attached to your love. So when you hear words that aren't attached to love, it's hard to deal in those situations. So how do you handle that?
Well, I think words that you don't see as being attached to love, because criticism is actually, to me, it's love. By not allowing somebody to fail or look crazy or whatever the case may be, by letting them know, hey, bruh, you're wrong when you do this, so they won't have developed that own like self-righteousness. Mm-hmm. They'll know when they're wrong. And that's when you really love someone, mm-hmm. when you're able to give them constructive criticism.
Yeah, not only that, and then it's like not recognizing or appreciating their efforts. I guess sometimes you overlook it. It's we did a little study one time when I was working at the school. Mm-hmm. That what's it called, 4-1 or 5-1 thing. Mm-hmm. We were trying to see how easy or how hard it would be to do it. Mm-hmm. Giving 5 positive things before you give 1 negative thing. Mm-hmm. And it's really hard to do it once you've dealt with the traumas and the situations of life, because a lot of the time life has been and really is stressful to some people.
Absolutely.
You know, so it was really hard to say 5 things positively before you could say the one thing negatively.
Because the thing about trauma is, and you know that's my thing, the thing about trauma is you can say as many positive things as you want to. The only thing they hear is the negative.
Right.
You know, so you can tell someone, oh, you're beautiful, you're this, you're that, you're da-da-da-da, but, you know, your attitude. All they would hear is my attitude. What you guys say about my attitude? They forget about everything nice or kind or positive you said previously. So some people, it's no easy way to tell them bad news or something wrong.
You got to write a letter and mail it so you ain't there when they get it. So physical touch, non-verbal body language, touch to emphasize love. They say in this situation you gotta like hold their hands and rub their hair.
Oh yeah, you stuff. Like it when I do.
How do you do that though? How do you give somebody a gift, right? Because my love language is gift giving. How do you give someone a physical touch gift?
Massage. A massage. What y'all think? A massage should be a physical touch gift?
Okay, so you said a massage is a massage there. That's pretty good. What else you got?
You can do like what they have that where you're making the ceramic stuff and you're touching hands while you're making the bowl. You know, that's kind of physical touch.
Oh, the powdery.
Yeah.
I guess that'll be dope because you got a little sense of what they call it, of creating, being the creator. Yeah, that'll be dope. So then, like, okay, so like in this thing, you have to avoid like long stints without touching, right? And you have to avoid physical neglect, right? But how would you do that, right? If you, how would you,
you know, James had to come here.
How would you physically neglect? Like, how can you avoid that, right? Because what I'm saying is like, you know, sometimes like with us, our schedule is backwards. You know, and not only that, like before that, like I was working one job and going to the next job and then coming home. Being tired, like saying no is physical neglect, but it's not what you actually mean to do, you know? So how can you say for a person who indulges in physical touch or their love language is physical touch, how do you say no without them feeling like they're being neglected?
By, you know, touching their hands. I mean, what do you mean no?
Like, no, I don't feel like touching you today.
You just don't know. And you just, you know, if it comes up, you let them know I'm not having
But then they feel a certain type of way when you're not touching them.
Well, just let them know. It's not true, it's me. I'm not having a good day. It's okay.
Yeah,
everybody had their days, and you got to give it to them. And you got to respect that. Everybody's not going to be 100%, like, always on point. Some days you just won't be there, and it's okay.
All right, so receiving gifts. Thoughtfulness. Make your spouse a priority. Speaking purposefully. Speaking purposefully. Actions you should take is giving thoughtful gifts, gestures, small things matter in a big way. See? Express gratitude when receiving a gift, even if it's not your love language. Express gratitude when receiving a gift.
That's for you. You used to be like, why would you get me this?
Yeah, because I'm no.
And it was so hard to get gifts because I'm like, I'm clueless at this point. What do you want? But eventually, like I said, I started listening to you speak, and you know.
And it's like things that you shouldn't take: forgetting special occasions, being unenthusiastic gift giving.
What you looking at me for?
Because you said, why would I say, why did you buy me this? Because
Mm-hmm.
it was unenthusiastic gift giving.
Oh no, I was like, here, babe, happy birthday.
But if you didn't, like you said, if you don't listen, then you just getting something that you feel like should be gotten, and you didn't put any enthusiasm in it.
What? Okay, you gonna have to explain what enthusiasm is.
Okay, enthusiasm.
What you want me to do? Some handstands?
Even though your gift, even though your love language isn't receiving gifts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that I've given you a bad gift?
No.
You know why? Because I'm always enthusiastic about listening to what you said that you want.
Okay.
So you would never have to say, why'd you get me this? Because 9 times out of 10, I'm listening to what you said that you wanted.
But I never like really come up like, oh, I want this. It
you
would
do.
be something you're like, okay, let me get this for her.
But you
I've
do.
never been like, yeah.
You do. You might think you don't, but you do.
Well,
quality time. Uninterrupted and focused conversations, one-on-one time is critical. Is that somebody's love language? Shamika. Man.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it would be okay because she has 1 kid.
I can't even say that. The next one of my love languages. My first is active service. Second is definitely quality time. And quality time looks different for everybody.
Right.
So
but it's saying that you shouldn't, it's saying uninterrupted.
Yeah. Again, it's different for everybody. For us, we had 4 children. So the reality is there will be times where we have to spend time together with family. And to me, it's the same. Like, I love making memories with my children, and I definitely love spending quality time with you.
I'm all right.
So
she just boosted me up tonight. I'm all right, though.
Man of God. All right, so go ahead. Next one.
Acts of service. Use action phrases like I'll help. They want to know you're with them, partner with them. But don't they know that you with them when you come home?
No. You be here sleep when I sleep. If you're here not actively assisting, it's like you're not here.
So how do you actively assist?
The way you come in, you see me like about to pull my hair out, and you just jump in,
But yeah, so I think because
did you just do a whole commercial?
Sometimes, right? You get overwhelmed really fast.
Yeah.
When all you got to do is just beat a kid up.
I'm not beating no kid up. I am a conscious parent, so I parent my children very consciously. I try to be aware of their feelings, their emotions, and then I also have a million other things that
I am a conscious parent, but I will beat a kid up.
No, you won't, guys. Please don't call CPS. He's not serious.
But yeah, so it's actions you should take: doing chores, making breakfast, in bed, get out of your way to help alleviate their daily workload. I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah. And the thing about these love languages, which kind of segue into our next topic, the more you feed someone's love language, the more likely, for all my single folks, cover your ears, the more likely you're able to
believe.
Get
That's all.
You fit in, because you begin to fill that love tank up, and then you feel connected to your mate, and before you know it, sex is not a problem. Just conversations, it's not a problem. Just being able to communicate with each other on so many different levels.
Yeah.
It becomes easy because you feel like this person actually loves you and he or she's in her. And that is very important. That is very important. And not only speaking about marriage, like having sex and stuff like that, but also with your children. When you speak their language and they know you really love them, you really support them, they're more likely to do what you ask them to do. They're more likely to follow your rules. You know what I mean? And even with friends, when you speak their love language, they're more likely to be a great friend.
Yeah. And if they love you, they don't want to see you disappointed.
Yeah, absolutely.
I noticed that even with the boys, like when you say, when you did that, I was really disappointed. You can see how it does something inside of them because they don't want to disappoint you.
Absolutely.
They don't want to do all of those things. You know, but like even with that, right? It's so many things that's entangled with making love. Having sex, whatever, be that as it may. You know, sometimes it's not only the love language, it's a lot of different other things, you know. So it's a lot of sometimes with women, because women they know when they have been violated, right?
Yeah.
So when a woman has been violated, it does something to their sex tank, their sex drive,
period.
All of those things. And you have to work a little harder because there's been
you gotta feel safe.
There's been a violation, right?
Absolutely.
But a man doesn't look at that same situation as him being violated. You understand what I'm saying?
That's an assumption.
Well, a lot of men that I've personally dealt with, I don't know if they look at it as a violation or if they just saying, "Rah, a man hear me raw," because we talking about it amongst each other.
Yeah, that's it right there. That's it right there.
For me, right, I recently figured out that it was a violation. You understand what I'm saying? But it was a man hear me raw type of thing, you know, and it's like, yeah, I done did this with this older person. You understand what I'm saying? And it was something to talk about with your friends or something to talk about with your homeboys because we feel like that's a great thing. You understand what I'm saying? It makes you get that I am man, hear me raw thing.
Or you're trying to convince yourself it was a great thing and it was actually something you wanted. I know a lot of males.
Because a lot of times it is something that you wanted.
I know a lot of men who've experienced that. Most of the time they were virgins. And then when that happens, they constantly tell themselves they actually wanted it, you know, or they become overly sexualized. They become those players that can't keep it in their pants. It's like they're constantly trying to prove to themselves that they wanted it. But the reality is you've been violated and you really had no say-so in it. And sometimes when men, this is going to get real nasty. Well, not nasty, but real stuff. When men, you know, get an erection, they feel like, okay, well, I guess I wanted it. I responded. But sometimes your body has natural responses like that. They're trying to justify their response to that action. But the reality is they were violated.
Because as a kid, right, you accept the fact of wanting to have sex. Because everybody talks about it. Even the ones who ain't do it have a story about how they did it. You understand what I'm saying? So it makes you curious about it. So once you become curious about it, I guess you make yourself feel like you wanted it because you were curious about it first. And then most of the time, the attraction is there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then because you've talked about it so much, like woody woody woo, woody woody, all you and your friends talked about it, now you like, oh, I gotta have sex because they did it. Not realizing all of us in the circle lying. You understand what I'm saying? So all of us in the circle lying about having sex when we really have been violated, like you said, and those violations trickle into our marriage.
Absolutely.
And then that's what creates a barrier for sex too. Like for us, you understand what I'm saying? Not talking about that, but
You can.
I think that was hard for me. It made me, it frustrated me when I'm like, oh man, I'm feeling a certain type of way. Let me try to get her in the mood. And then I touch you and you jump. And I'm like, well, I'm here. What are you jumping for?
Mm-hmm.
It's me. So what are you jumping for? Like, I don't understand it. Why is it like that? You understand what I'm saying? So that was really hard.
Yeah, but then you realize that the reality is we weren't connecting.
True.
So because we weren't connecting, my body will not allow me to betray it, like, naturally. So if I'm not feeling you, I'm just not feeling you, and I'm not going to pretend to.
But let me ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that came from the traumatic situations?
Well, I don't really know. I really feel like any woman, if ever they're not feeling it, should be able to say no.
True.
You know what I mean? And I honestly believe any woman, whether it's your husband, whoever, I don't think anyone should force themselves to do it.
But that's the purpose of getting married.
Yeah, not
so you can
yourself.
Have a bunch of sex.
Okay. Not forcing yourself to do it. Yes, to have a bunch of it. But to have a bunch of it, absolutely. But that's accompanied with that love, that connection, that safety.
But listen, I agree, right? And I think a lot of the times where we fall short is the fact that it was no positive points of reference. I didn't see.
And you saying we mean men or
some people?
Us?
People. I'm not going to say us. I fell short. I'm not going to say. I think I fell short because I didn't have a positive point of reference. I didn't see the let's sit down and let's talk. I seen leave, go to work, come home, bills paid. Leave, go to work, come home, bills paid. Leave, go to work, come home, bills paid. So and then it was children coming. So I know it was some sex involved because it was children coming. So I felt like, okay, I'm providing. I'm supposed to have sex. Mm-hmm. That was just the way that I was thinking because I was kind of sort of selfish, but I was selfish because nobody ever taught me that you have to speak to her love language.
Fill up that love tank.
In order to get the response that you want, right? I felt like, well, we both sacrificing, so we should just meet at the sacrifice. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that's where I was messed up a little bit too myself.
Yeah.
And
that was really brave of you to say
that. Sex. Love making is totally different. We the love language with the love making part comes with intimately feeding the love language.
It's both.
No,
because I'm all in it.
Sex is different from love making.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm having both of them.
See what I'm saying? This should turn into Porky Pig. Go ahead.
What does that mean?
But
Okay, bye.
but no, so like a lot of the time, so it's a lot of barriers. Not only that, but I guess and that with both of them, like there's greatness to it and there's barriers to it because of who we are. Yeah, but sometimes the difference comes with the traumatic things that we've experienced before marriage, and when we've dealt with some traumatic things before marriage, I didn't know how to deal with that. You understand what I'm saying? When we got married, I was 8 months saved. I didn't know how to deal with that. I was coming fresh off the street. I'm like, what? What do you mean? No. What do you mean? Like, why are you jumping? Why are you acting like that? Like I was ready to punch her in the back of the head.
No, you wasn't.
I'm serious because it was very, very, very frustrating. It was very, very, very frustrating. I'm not even going to play no games. And it's like, I had to love her through something that some petty person did. Like somebody who was supposed to protect her did something to her. And then I had to deal with that. I had to love that out of her. And I didn't know how. So it was rough for the first couple of years.
Yeah. And also it's kind of rough you adjusting to being married. Him adjusting to being married. And even having like dialogue and conflicts with me, because I don't like the yelling, you know. And when yelling and stuff like that happened, yes, I felt totally disconnected because we weren't seeing eye to eye, and it's no way we can't work through our problems and then you're expecting that on the platter. No, that doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
Let's talk
it's makeup.
through it.
It's called makeup sex.
No, sir. Let's talk through it. Let's get to a resolution.
It's called makeup sex.
Let's get to the resolution. Let's figure out what's happening.
We'll
Let's
get
see
to the
why
resolution
this keeps happening
with an orgasm.
That's men. I don't get it, but yeah.
What resolution do you need?
Okay, babe.
We already talked about it. Now let's hump it out.
Okay.
It's like, nah. But you know, so it was a lot. It was a lot, man. And for me, exactly. But for me, man, the love language, I learned how to deal with the love language due to the lack of intimacy that we had, because I didn't know how to love her out of that situation that she was in for a long time. No lie, I didn't. Like, I'm like, this is something that people shouldn't even have to deal with. Like, I don't know, but it was, what's up, Apostle? It was really rough trying to love her out of that place where somebody violated her. It was really hard for me. And listen, and I was the minister. I was the elder. I was the assistant pastor. All of those things, still trying to figure out how to do it. Because even though you learn to love, and I'm gonna tell you what did it for me. I was talking to somebody one time, and they told me, and I'm like, man, I just don't know how I'm supposed to do it. I don't know how I'm supposed to talk to her. And he had me look at the mirror, and he said, talk to her like this. And it broke my heart, because some of the ways that I had talked to her, because of the frustration, I wouldn't want nobody to talk to me like that. You understand what I'm saying? And that's where I had to learn that this is not the right way. But all of these things came through trial and error. You understand what I'm saying? Because the only person I seen who was really being a husband was my mom's husband. To tell the truth, the only person I seen intimately love somebody was my mom's husband. All the other men was just like, I'm the man, and I feel like this is supposed to happen. And that's the way I came into my marriage. Like, I'm the man, and this is supposed to happen. And she was making $3,000 every 2 weeks, and I was making $5 something. And I come here talking about I'm the man. I'm putting my foot down.
Well,
but it did. You understand what I'm saying? Because, like, you still have to understand. Like, I have to trust you with what I have. You understand what I'm saying? And I ain't have much. So how could I expect for you to trust me with what you had with the behavior that I was displaying?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So, and a lot of, you know, it was rough, y'all. I'm telling y'all, like, I'm always gonna come and I'm always gonna tell y'all the truth. I'm not gonna hide nothing. And I like I tell people all the time, we don't know everything. We only know the things that we've experienced. That's it. And then we know the things that God has outlined for us. Absolutely. So we always gonna tell. I'm always gonna tell you the truth, and hopefully she is too.
You already know. I'm gonna give it to you raw.
You know, so yeah, it was a rough situation, man. Trying to love her out of position, trying to love her out of a violation, right? I'm broken because I'm a newly converted Christian. So I was broken myself, and I'm trying to love her out of a place where she's been violated. How does that work? Because then I started acting like that broken little kid. I would touch her, she would jump, I would roll over, forget her. You understand what I'm saying? And that wasn't the way that it was supposed to work, but I was broken. And then being broken, God exposed me to me.
Yeah.
You know, and I read, and it took a while. It didn't happen overnight. I'm still learning now. You know, even sometimes now, you know, I have to It's crazy. I have to pay attention to what soap I use. I have to all types of stuff. You understand what I'm saying? And a habit that I had that I don't have anymore, but the habit that I had brought up those memories. You understand what I'm saying? So I had to put all of those things into play and realize what it was and what I could and what I couldn't do to keep her from PTSD. You understand what I'm saying? Because sometimes we deal with PTSD because of some of the situations that we are around, right? So if I like, for one thing, I really like using Ira Spring. I did, right? But she had to get to the point she was comfortable enough to tell me, hey, when you use that soap does this to me. You know, and then I had to be in a place to accept it, because when we like something, we like it. We don't want to have to go and deal with all this other stuff trying to figure it out. But I had to realize now I can't use this soap no more. You understand what I'm saying? And that was a trigger, you know? So it is what it is. Like you, what? What about you, Boo? Come on, tell us. But yeah, so you know, it's right. Exactly. And that you have to grow in order to compromise.
Absolutely.
Because immature, broken people don't compromise, because it's my way and I want it now. Yeah, you understand?
It's like a narcissistic type of thing, where it's all about me.
Yeah, and
usually narcissisms stem from, of course, childhood
experiences. Yeah, true. You understand what I'm saying, Crystal? Yeah, and a lot of the times we be delivered from those things, but the enemy used and not that some things happen out of unconscious. Some things unconsciously happen. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Because she could have been delivered from that, but when I came with that soap, when she smelled the soap, then those memories play back. You understand what I'm saying? All of that stuff play back, and then she know we got. It's gonna take us a couple weeks to get back out of this. No, but I'm not saying a couple.
We just talking.
You know, it's gonna take time to get back out of this, because a trigger can make you revert months and years sometimes. Because that's something that I remember when I was in a very bad place, a place where I feel like I couldn't protect myself, a place where I felt like some of the things that happened to me, I couldn't get away from it. So when you start feeling like you can't protect yourself, or you in a position that you can't get yourself out of, it's very hard to come out of that situation.
That's right.
So.
And they feel like you're reliving that situation.
Every time you deal with that trigger.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? Listen, man. Think I was playing with one of my sons one time. We was outside like stick fighting or something, right? And when he hit me with the stick, it felt like something that I got whooped with when I was a kid. And it sent me back to that place. You understand what I'm saying? So those triggers, it's very hard to deal with those triggers, you know, and it was really hard. Like when it took me to that place, I had to snap myself out of it really fast, because I was out there with my little kid. Mm-hmm. And if I would have did to my kid, if I would have let my mind trick me that my son was that person that I wanted to hurt, it could have been a very bad situation for my kids. So you know, the PTSD is really bad sometimes. That those traumatic issues are really bad sometimes, you know, and there's some of those things you gotta fight your way out of, and sometimes it's hard. Yeah. You know, and it's hard to deal with trying to fill up a love tank with a love language so you can make love when you're broken. Or when you're in a position where you don't feel like you're worthy to be in this. You know, some things you feel like, I don't even want to try that because nobody has ever done that for me. You know, so.
And that's kind of like a selfish perspective too. nobody's done it for me, so I don't want to do it for nobody else.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, I'm not gonna say it's selfish. I'm gonna say is what they say, how you deflection.
Okay.
Because most of the time we want to try something new,
Mm-hmm.
but it's hard to try something new when you're dealing with the trauma and the PTSD. You want to try something new. Yeah, I want to try to love her like that, but then we look at it, right? We made fun of those dudes we saw walking down the street holding their hands with their girlfriends.
What? Why would you make fun of them? They probably the ones that got the best girl.
We were kids.
That's shit.
You know, in high school, we made fun of those guys walking around the hallway holding hands with the girls. You know, on 14th Street, we made fun of them white guys walking through the neighborhood holding hands with their girlfriend.
That's because y'all childish. They know what's up. That's why they was holding their hand.
But we know what's up too. That's why we want to try it. But it's hard to try it when you done sat with your homies and all y'all told, man, that's corny.
And y'all was whack for that. So
and then you gotta
go ahead and erase that myth.
But still, then you gotta fight yourself out of the corny. Damn, it'll be corny.
So what? Hey, you are corny.
You 40.
You got a minivan. You got a minivan for a kid for the wife. You corny now.
You 40 now. You feel what I'm saying? So you could be corny. You could do those things. But I know what I'm never going to do. Wear them fishnet shirts.
Oh, how about the carrier?
What's up with
the carrier? He won't wear the carrier.
I don't like that thing. I will carry her in my arms. I am not wearing that thing. No. That's for a soccer dad.
No, it's not.
They don't play soccer yet. Yeah, nah. See, I think you guys.
Everybody's different.
It's still some. You guys might be great where you are, right? That might not be a part of your marriage, but you can still gain some more intimacy by trying. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do it for 15 minutes. Do it for 45 seconds first. Then the next time you go back, you do it for 2 minutes. Then you go back, you do it for 3 minutes. Yeah. And then y'all be looking at y'all be walking through the grocery store. Y'all be doing the snake holding hands. But you know, so it's good, man. But it's a lot of marriage is great. But I even though we talk about the greatness, I want to talk about the barriers too.
That's it.
You know, sometimes we have to realize with our love making, the trauma from our youth created some barriers, or the trauma from before the marriage created some barriers. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's like you gotta try it, right? So it's like,
Go ahead, say it, babe.
No, but I'm right. You and you know a lot of the problem, Miss Annette, is the fact of we're 40 and 50 years old now, and we still trying to act like we 20 and 25. That's the problem. Like, we 40. 2 more years, I'll be 40 years old. Yeah, I got me a young jump. But 2 more years, I'll be 40 years old, and I have to realize that while I'm going towards 40, I'm not going towards 20. I'm not going to my youth anymore. I can let my sons.
Go ahead. You can let your sons finish your thought, baby.
You know, I gotta let my sons do the teenage and 20-year-old stuff. But now I have to teach them to be respectful in their 20s. As much as I don't know. The hardest part, man, is trying to protect them from becoming sexually active. I think that's going to be the hardest part. You know, because we don't look cool, right? Saying don't do it. When all the guys who they think cool, or all the people who they think cool, that I just jumped to a whole different topic. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, y'all. But when I apologize. But when all the people who they consider being cool or is saying, man, this is great. and they'll never take it from us saying, hey, son,
save it for marriage.
Somebody told us that too.
Mm-hmm.
I told somebody that too.
Mm-hmm.
And we were all lying. Most of the time.
And it was probably good for the moment, but once you get married, you realize that God's design was perfect.
And then you got something, then you compare it.
Yeah.
You're comparing.
Forever.
And, you know?
Yeah, the exposure can possibly ruin the marriage.
Yeah. But you're right. I mean, you got to tear those walls down. You got to tear those walls down. You know, you have to put yourself in a position where you just freely doing it. You understand what I'm saying? You can't protect yourself from love. You can't protect yourself from the things that love is going to do. Mm-hmm. You know, like I say, love is patient, love is kind, love is, go to it, I guess. Pull it up if you can go to it, right? But you got to also realize that love is frustrating, and love is eager, and love is uncontrollable. And love will put you in a position that will drive you crazy. You understand what I'm saying? But you also got to remember, like they said, love is patient and love is kind. Love is long suffering, and love is, love outweighs a multitude of sins. Yeah. You know, it's always love, man. Love will do some crazy things. Love will make you overlook some things, and love will make you take some things that you said that you wouldn't.
Yeah, so that's toxic love.
Yeah, love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy, love does not boast, love is not proud, love is not rude, love is not self-seeking, love is not easily angered, and it keeps no records of wrong, and love never fails.
That's right.
Because when you love, you're doing it freely. Because when you love, you can't control it. If you can't control how you love. You understand what I'm saying? You can be in love with somebody and they can do something that the next person can do, and you will want to cut the next person's head off. But you accept it from this person because love is uncontrollable. Mm. You know, it's no handle for it. It's no turning it up and then turning it back down. There's none of that. It go as far as it want to, and it stop where it want to. It come back when it want to, and it'll shake you up and say, "Get it together." But you got to realize, man, it's always that love. You know. You're not always happy, but you always love that person.
So I get it. You're basically saying love is ongoing.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it's ongoing. When they say love is all, no matter what all of that stuff is, love is infinite. Yeah. It's something that will never go away. Because even the person that you love, when you guys fall out, a couple time might go past, something gonna happen. You gonna inbox, they gonna inbox, and then you guys gonna have a conversation like that thing didn't even happen. And then you go back and you say, well, now that we back talking, when this happened, I felt this way. Then you're able to sit down and talk that thing out, you know? Mm-hmm. So tonight, I don't know, I feel like I wanted to start doing a little small thing. So tonight's moment of truth is love is infinite. Love. Fall in and fall out of love. Love is like a roller coaster. Sometimes you jump in, you put your hands up, and it's great. And sometimes you get in and you get sick. but it's all worth it because every step of the way you learn. So the moment of truth for tonight is going to be, man, love regardless. You're not always going to be happy, but you're always going to have the space to love. You know, and I feel like the love is somehow connected to your heart and your mind. You know, a lot of the time our emotions are just controlled by our mind. But your love is controlled by your mind and your heart. Yeah, love conquers all.
Well,
Mikhail.
that was really good. Love is ongoing, right, babe?
Yeah.
All right, so you ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring the kids in here.
All right, before they come in here, today we talked about love languages and the importance of loving your spouse through their love language. We pinged, did you post it?
Yeah,
We pinned a website where you're able to take the test, you, your spouse, your kids, your friends, take the test so you can get to know the love languages of your family members and even your husband, your spouse, your friends, etc. So you guys can begin speaking the same love language and loving on one another.
Thank you.
We enjoyed you too.
Thank you.
We enjoyed you too. You said you was bringing the kids in?
Yeah.
So while he go get them, we can talk to anybody have any questions or even comments. All right, no questions, no comments. We really enjoy meeting with you. We look forward to doing this weekly. We have definitely been through a lot in our 8 years, and we're looking to share this with as many people as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Because marriage is work, but it's definitely worth it. It's worth it. It's worth the fight. It's worth not giving up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next week will be Thursday because I work Friday night. So it's Friday, Thursday, Friday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Here they go right here. Come on, say hi to the people.
Hi.
Right here.
Hi. Hi. Hi.
That's our tribe, guys.
That was a big
We work hard to break generational curses and things that was set out to destroy this thing that we call family. Because the reality is Satan don't want your kids to grow up in households where the mom and the dad actually exist. His job is to separate, to cause them to have like what do you call it? Cause them to have battles that they don't even have to have. So when you fight with George, who's George? So when you're fighting, remember your fight is not only for you, but it's also for your generations to come.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and the attack really is the seed bearer. You know, he don't want anything planted.
Yeah, and we have 3 boys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they had 3 boys.
See him? He loved this. He couldn't wait to come in here and get on the TV.
We're gonna have to launch their own YouTube channel.
Yay!
We're definitely working on it because they're full of personality.
Bye-bye.
Would you guys have your kids watch their show?
Please, we need lots of subscribers. Yeah, we have lots of subscribers with our children.
That was the brother looking for braces.
Oh yeah, he said George. How y'all feeling? How y'all doing over there?
Good. I hope you're feeling blessed. I hope you're feeling good.
Crystal, did you leave? All right, hold on. You gotta wait a second. Let us pray first. You coming in here trying to steal the milk. All right. Oh.
All right, guys.
All right, Grayson, pray for the people so we can go. Pray for their marriages.
Okay.
Go ahead.
How do that?
Say God bless their marriages.
God bless their marriages.
Bless the husband.
Bless the husband.
Bless the wife.
So
And now go ahead and pray. Go ahead.
Our Father, from what in
From art in
heaven,
heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy kingdom come,
thy will be done
thy will be done
on earth
on earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread.
our daily bread,
Forgive us our trespasses,
and forgive us our trespasses,
and we forgive you
as we forgive those
that trespass against us.
that trespass against us.
Even not
And lead us not
into temptation,
Into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
The kingdom,
the power,
the power,
and
and the glory, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Amen.
All right, y'all.
Bye bye.
bye.
See you all, my good people.